Nvda reported earnings and it was spectacular. The company brought in a whopping $57.01 billion. They were only expected to bring in $54.91 billion. That's $2 billion more than expected. So congratulations to Nvda and the shareholders. Now, we ended the day at $186.52, up 2.85%. We are at resistance, basically at 187.14. Above that, at 2 standard deviations, takes us to 189.20. That is also resistance, as I mentioned, and another potential take profit area, as well as 4 standard deviations at 191.15. To the south side, the middle of the trend and the baseline, and in this case, support takes us to roughly 183.15. If we get to this level, which I think we definitely will, I will anticipate a bounce off of that, or we continue to grind sideways, or we could follow this line slowly down until there's a reversal. But we do have a gap, which I will talk about in a second, to the downside. But one level below the middle of the trend takes us to 179.14, which is another level of support and another potential buy-in area. I will anticipate a bounce off of that, as well as a bounce off of this support line, 177.08. This is also a potential stop loss area and another stop loss area, another potential buy-in area, 175.18. It just depends on where you already bought in or if you're trying to start a position. Now, the gap that I was talking about is right here. So if you'd like to go short, here it is, a short-term short. It looks like it closed, but it did not touch, so that is still in play. And that will take us down to roughly 182.79. Now let's talk about the gaps that went to the upside. This one closed today, started on Tuesday, and closed right there at 185.82. Then we tickled the second gap here at 187.06. Then there is a gap here that's still in play, and this gap, and then we have another gap here that will take us to 206.51. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close, but something to be aware of. That closed to the downside at 203.31. It's been a while since I've cleaned this up. That closed to the downside at 203.10. And this one also closed. And I just extended. I have no idea when it will close out. I have guesstimates, but it closed right there at 201.57. And then this one closed to the upside at 187.15. This one closed right on the dot where I extended it, 182.42. That's done. But look at that. We fell down some more and then ripped up. Oh, this is done. That took us down to 188.25. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since the last time I closed all these gaps. All right, that touched on this gap, but that gap is done. It's a gap basically within a gap. But let me show you what I mean. Then I'm going to move on to another ticker here. So that is so we gapped up, so then it fills to the downside, and it did right there, taking us down to 186.60. And it closed right there at 188.21. Delete that. All right, we have a few landmines to the south side to be aware of. Yes, they reported great earnings, but many people think this is a bubble we're in and that it will burst. And so people are skittish. All right, on the daily, what does the chart tell us? All right, this is the new price target, 237.97, which represents a 27% return from where we are today. Oh, 76. 27. 76. All right, we've hit that target, we hit that target, and now this target. And the RSI has plenty of room to move to the upside. The channel that we are in, so 186 right here. So the next window leg up will take us to 217.80, 217.08, and it will close out all of these gaps. And then that's the next leg and potentially the next leg after that. Now watch out for the landmines. Again, to the south side, we have many. So don't think there's no opportunity left to buy cheaply. There will be. You have to be patient. Okay, and that one closed, but did it really touch there? No, see? We've got a little bit of room there, so it did not touch. All right. Now, that's the daily. All I'm going to do on this next part will be looking at the RSI. Yep, we hit a pivotal point and we started to fall. So when you hear about people talking about the market starting to crash, look at this on the monthly time frame in the big picture so you can see what they're talking about. And it's nothing to fear if you know that's going to happen. And you just wait for your potential buy-in for tickers that you're interested in scooping up. And on the, excuse me, that was the weekly, the monthly. Okay, yeah. You could just know that there was going to be some bleeding to do with Nvda because we were so frothy, overbought. So do that with SPY, the triple Qs, NQ, ES, whatever you like to look at. Okay, so that's Nvda. The next one I want to go over will be Boeing, and I track that. I only want to look at Boeing very quickly because we closed some gaps that I have been talking about. And then we bounced, but this is the gap, this red gap here. Oh my gosh, look at how far back I gotta go. I marked this out on May 2nd of 2025. So now this thing has to catch up with me. Come on. Oh, I guess I have to pull. Wow. Look at this one. All right. I'll look at this on the 15 so you can see it better. But for right now, let's do this on the 5. And I just talked about this during my Gap and Go trades over the weekend. So now I'm going to clean this up. We are right here at 185.70. Clean this up because I don't go in depth through this on the Gap and Go videos I do. Okay, that's going to go into the purple. All right. Your target now for Thursday, 187.31, 188.36. To the south side, the middle of the trend, 183.72, 181.49, 180.24, and 179.13. So this gap, I just extended it out. I have no idea when it's going to touch, and it did right here. So that is no longer a threat to the south side. I don't know if there are even any more gaps. Okay, so we hit that. resistance and sold off. Now we have this to look forward to at 189. Let me change this to green. That will take us to 189.53-ish, or 54, close enough, green, and then this gap. So we've got some things to look forward to the upside. Now, the next one I want to go over very quickly is Apple. I heard rumblings that Tim Cook will be retiring in 2026, and thank the Lord. Okay, thank the Lord. I've been waiting for this day for a very long time. I have held this ticker for an extremely long period of time, and ever since he pulled the plug on the Apple car, because that's the car I wanted to buy, he spent more than $10 billion on R&D for an Apple car, and then he pulled the plug. I think he should be forced to reimburse shareholders for his waste. What an idiot. I'm so sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry. I'm just telling you how I feel. And he is late behind the 8 ball on AI. He is not an innovator. Nothing, I mean, iMovie on the iPhone hasn't even been changed in a decade, okay? That's ridiculous. I know they're trying to sell you on an upgrade and other things, but that is just stupid. All right, I digress. Now your targets, and I cannot wait for him to go and make some changes. 268.56. Take your parachute and leave. I mean, he gets paid $75 million a year, okay? You shouldn't have paid him that much money because somebody else will do it for cheaper and do a better job. All right. He's not the founder. He's not Elon. Elon deserves every penny he gets. Let's do 268.56. Let me fix that. Okay, your window. 272.53, 274.90, and 277.32 to the south side. 263.04, 260.72, and 258.43. So we have this gap, which closed right there on Wednesday. That took us up to 272.20. This gap closed right here, taking us down to 269.56. And 264.68 is the gap that starts to the downside here, closes out at 262.90. So if you like to go short, there you go. There you go. And this gap closed. This is an expected move I've been tracking. I have not cleaned this up in a very long time. Delete. Delete. I will not be buying more of this. I own too much of this. And I cannot put all my eggs in one basket. And there are gaps to the downside here to be aware of. Okay, let's look at this very quickly on the daily for the RSI. What does it tell us? Going up. And we are right here, so the next leg up will take us to 274-ish, 75, 90, 70, whatever. Between 74 and 75 if I stop moving the cursor. Okay, right here, to be precise. Actually, 275.12. And then after that, 295.31. Ignore this. I was wrong. They allow it again. But you can't, if you want to sell a specific lot, you have to do it by market order. I am so ticked at Vanguard as well. I am a user and a customer for Vanguard for a very long time, and that is why I have stopped using them. I am dumping them and not happy. Okay, the 1-year price target on Apple is 284 84, which is only a 6% return. Not great. I would be buying something else. But then after that, I'm sure there's another target. And that target, 295.31 and 314. That's a long ways off. So the RSI is turning up on the daily. The weekly going down, so we're going to be bleeding out here. And on the month, going down as well after hitting here and then going to this halfway mark and then bouncing back up. Sell off over here as well. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at Nvda, Boeing, and Apple. Have a fantastic trading day.